What's up, you guys? I'm Dan. This is Frugal Not Cheap, and today I'll let you know what I think about my 2017 Tesla Model S after 4 years of ownership. Guys, I can't believe it's already been 4 years. I bought this 2017 Model S, got it used back in 2021, March of 2021. I paid $38,000 for it, did the entire transaction from a distance, just, got sent pictures, we did video chat, all that stuff, but worked out really well. Even did a trade-in. I sent in a video and kind of showed the guy my car, and we did a trade that way based off the CarMax value. The car had 61,000 miles because, of course, I bought it in 2021 and it was manufactured in the summer of 2017. Still, I think pretty amazing to be able to buy a car like this for around the cost of a new, decent level Camry. After I got the car, of course, being a big aficionado for technology, I got full self-driving, bought that package outright. It was an upgrade because the car already had Navigate on autopilot, so I just had to pay the difference to get that up to FSD. And then I also paid $1,500 to upgrade the media control unit, the MCU, from MCU1 to MCU2. And then later on, when it was available, I got the free camera upgrades that actually allowed me to then download and install and begin running the full self-driving system, which has been awesome. Within the first little bit of ownership, I also noticed that there was kind of a milling sound or a loud humming sound when I was going on the highway at about 70, 75 miles an hour. This, of course, was annoying, and so I took it into Tesla service, and they actually replaced the drive unit with a remanufactured one, and also replaced parts of the high voltage assembly as well, all under warranty. This car came with an 8-year unlimited mile drivetrain and battery warranty, and that warranty is still in effect today. It won't expire until October of this year, 2025. Pretty awesome warranty. The car also came with premium connectivity, meaning that I always have the cool Google satellite images on the maps. I get the traffic alerts and on the map as well. You can see if it's heavy or light traffic and all that stuff. And it also means then, of course, that with the new MCU2, I can also stream Netflix and Hulu and Twitch and all kinds of stuff. Use the web browser to view even more things. It's pretty amazing, but more on that later. So for now, I'd just like to say I think it's still an incredibly beautiful car, as you can see. I really love the chrome trim. I don't really care that they've sort of de-chromed the newer cars and they have all this black stuff. I love the self-presenting door handles. They're really cool. I love the lighting. There's just so much about this car that I really, really love. All right, guys, let's get into some of the cost of ownership stuff. This is, of course, a finance channel primarily, Tesla / finance / lifestyle / whatever Dan wants to make a video about. But primarily I'm concerned with finances, and I think, definitely it would be a disservice if I didn't go over that part with you in detail. So I've got a few notes here. So I haven't had to do a whole lot of service. Again, that initial drivetrain and high voltage assembly replacement was all done under warranty, which is awesome. I did at one point have some suspension components that needed to be replaced. That was $890. And I think that's partly a consequence of some really, really rough roads here. Some of these big dips were, I don't know, a couple rough ones out here in Texas. Then for some reason I paid $50 to get the tires rotated one time by Tesla. Since then I've just get them done at by Discount Tire, where I buy my tires these days. And then also had a rock chip on my windshield. Unfortunately, so right off the rip after I got the upgrades and the drivetrain warranty and all that, I actually drove 1,800 miles on a road trip from New Hampshire down here to Texas. That's why it's March and I'm in shorts and I love it. It's great out here. It's over 70 degrees. Absolutely loving it. Anyway, so within the first, I think, half an hour of my 1,800-mile road trip, unfortunately there was a construction vehicle, a little piece of gravel or some rock or something flew out of it, hit the windshield and cracked it, and I was really bummed about that. So I got that fixed when I got here. I found a guy, I think the name of his business out here was Save My Windshield. I don't know if he's still active, but he was a really, really cool guy. Aside from those things, the only really expensive things that I had to do, because there really hasn't been any maintenance or service that I need to do besides the windshield washer fluid, has been tires, of course. I haven't had to do any brakes, which is great, but I did have to replace some tires. So these were $1,200 for the first set, and then I paid about $1,700 for a second set, much more expensive. And then I did replace some of the rims too, actually. So that's embedded in in there somewhere. I can't remember. There were a couple that had become cracked again from the bad roads out here, I think. The only other major item was at one point I noticed a crease in the bodywork, and it wasn't really very noticeable, but it bothered me, so I got that fixed up by one of those sort of painless dent repair places. They did a really, really good job. It was expensive, $525, but they did a great job getting that creased out, and you can't tell that there was ever anything there before. So in total service costs, including tires, were about $4,000. Then I did that $525 for the crease. And then I also spent about $1,750 for accessories and other whatnots over the 4 years of ownership. So really, for a car that is coming up on 8 years old, I'd say, really not bad in terms of those costs, I don't think at all. Now, looking at sort of non-service parts and accessories items, what did I have to spend on? Well, of course, I had to have insurance that averaged $1,500 a year. I'm around a 40-year-old male, and so yeah, that gives you the idea for that. The insurance did go up quite a bit when I moved out here to Texas in the second year, I think. Yeah, after a lot of hail damage had happened. But now I'm with Tesla Insurance, and when I can have my safety score high up, my monthly premiums are about $100, $110, so yeah, pretty good, not too bad. I spend an average of $127 a year on superchargers from road trips, so that's very, very low. Most of the time I'm just charging at home, and it's actually the meter for the electricity to my garage is not connected to my apartment, so I actually have zero cost for that. I just pay the rental to have a garage, which I'm happy to have either way. So it's a really big bonus here. An average of $30 a year on car washes, not too bad. $210 for registration, and $200 a year for tolls. Those can really add up out here, but they're very convenient. And then again, looking at service parts and accessories, that's an average of $1,600. So that puts my total spend on average at $3,700 a year to run this vehicle. So really not bad at all. Where it does start to add up and become expensive, and this is something to always know about car ownership, especially for a vehicle that's a premium vehicle like this, that's going to see more depreciation. So again, I bought it with 61,000 miles. Now I have 85,000 miles. If it weren't for an accident that I was in, meaning that of course the history is now dinged because of that, the car should sell for about $20,000 to $22,000 or so. But unfortunately, an accident like that can knock off up to 30% of the price or more. But let's say 30%, that puts us in around the $15,000 ballpark. So that means in total, I've lost $23,000 in depreciation. That's about $5,750 a year, which actually puts the total cost of ownership for me at $9,450 a year. So car ownership is just an expensive thing. The big two things to control in one's budget are, of course, housing. That's the top most expensive item. And then second is transportation as well. And you can see that here. That's it for the cost side. Let's talk a little bit more about what I think about the car. So we already talked about how beautiful the Model S is. I think it's definitely the most good-looking vehicle that Tesla produces. But not only is it very beautiful, it's also very practical. So that noise is me opening up the front trunk. And looking in here, you can see the expansive front trunk. I don't have the dimensions, but it's quite large, and I've got sort of my mobile charging kit there if I need to plug in somewhere. I've got the little pucks there in case it needs to be jacked up. And then I also have a handy dandy tire inflator as well, which you can just plug into the vehicle because of course it produces a lot of electricity. And that's handy for just topping up the tires to make sure that they're properly inflated. So yeah, very, very handy to have this front trunk. This is where I put my takeout. Because then of course it doesn't stink up the cabin, so you can have your takeout food over here and it never bothers anybody inside. There's a giant HEPA filter right back there, and then another cabin air filter inside as well. I've got a video telling you how to replace that cabin filter. It is kind of difficult, so yeah, you can check that video out. And then also I have another video where I go over how to remove this entire front trunk assembly so you can get at that HEPA filter, and you can clean it off or replace it or what have you. Replacement's harder because it's kind of a built-in sort of dealie, but anyway, cleaning it off for sure. So that's the front trunk. Let's go back over and look at the rear. So we do have a power lift gate, which is great. And we just have huge amounts of trunk room. So yeah, just crazy. You've got this under trunk storage over here, and then of course you have the side pocket storage on both sides, and then those seats do fold down, and then you just have an immense immense amount of storage space in the Model S, and so it is incredibly practical. I would say if there's one place where the Model S kind of falls short a little bit, is that despite being a fairly large sedan, I mean, it's not super huge, but it's a full-size sedan, that the backseat legroom isn't super huge. It's fine, but it's not super huge. So I'm 5'8". Of course, I can hit my head over here. I've got a kind of long torso for my height, but plenty of headroom here with the glass. And legroom's not too bad, but I've got this seat pushed back to what a lot of my friends like as a comfortable level. And you know, my feet do kind of, I mean, you can put your feet under, so that helps. And I got a pretty decent amount of knee room, but it's not like super expansive, you know. But it's very comfortable. One weird thing is there's no middle armrest. There's nothing here, no center stuff. So this is one of the things about the quirkier older Tesla cars, is you don't get some of those things. But we do have 2 USB ports. We've got cup holders, and then we've got also our air vents, our air conditioning over here as well. No map pockets and no door pocket storage, but very nice materials. We've got nice supple leather here all over the back, very comfortable. And then all of this stuff is real metal trim as well. And then this is soft touch also. So all in all, very happy. And Alcantara here for the headliner, nice and soft out as well. So again, great materials and cool styling here, even on the door. This is the door pull and the door handle, all nice and cold metal. All right, jumping over to the interior, we do have a nice door sill here that does say Model S. It is metallic as well. And then again, the cool design for the doors also. And then we have a leather wrapped steering wheel. And then the seats are actual leather here. This is the final year they did that. And then aside from that, you have all this Alcantara suede, two-tone actually. You've got the tan up here and then the black on the dash. Very nice to feel that. And then a lot of wood grain on the dash as well. And then also down here in the center console where you can access a lot of storage. And then of course the armrests over here are also leather wrapped as well. And they do slide back to reveal some cup holders. So I would say that not only is it beautiful on the outside, that the vehicle is also beautiful on the inside. And while it doesn't have some of the modern amenities, like, well, it's kind of funny, there's no coat hooks, there's no door pocket storage like the newer cars have. And I will say that it's just put together in a way that does develop more creaks and rattles than the newer vehicles do. If you were to buy a brand new Tesla, they are much more solid and less prone to those creaks and rattles. We do have a little bit of that, but nothing too terrible. Most of the time I listen to music, and I'm really happy about this vehicle. So I'd like to reiterate that the vehicle has been extremely reliable. Again, very few issues, just had some, components are going to wear out over time. The car's 8 years old, so of course we had to do the suspension, we had to do the tires, but I haven't even had to do brakes. Oh yeah, I did have to do some rims, right, as I talked about, but again, the roads here are not that great. I guess the roads seem to be terrible everywhere that I am. I'm always complaining about them, so there you go. All right, the next component I'd like to talk about is just how much fun the Tesla is. Those of you that have watched Tesla videos before know that there's all kinds of cool stuff here. You've got that theater I talked about where we can do Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and then the Tesla tutorials as well. But you could also just watch stuff on your web browser as well. And then we also have the arcade where we have a number of games that we can play. Very, very cool to have all of those available when you're supercharging. You can also plug in via USB a game controller, so you can play games a little bit better that way. I think I have mine in the glove box. And then, of course, there are more fun items in the toy box, including the famous emissions testing mode. And, of course, romance mode's fun as well. It turns the heaters on, puts a little fire on the backdrop. I don't know if it plays Barry White. I don't think so. Let's see. So that's all very cool. And then over time, they've improved also all of the different sources that you can have for music. So if we go over here to sources for the music, we can see just this expansive list of services that are now available, even on my car that, again, is a 2017 vehicle, and all these new services are available. And let's see, we can shift the balance around. We can mess with the equalizer a little bit as well. I don't have the premium audio. I've got the base audio, but it still sounds pretty good. Oftentimes I used to play the music off of USB, but there were a couple issues. One is that the album art wouldn't update on the instrument cluster, so that was annoying. And then the other is that somehow in recent updates, the soundstage has deteriorated for USB music. So while clarity is still the highest for USB music, I think the soundstage is actually better now for Bluetooth. And I also noticed a marked improvement in the quality on Bluetooth as well. And as long as my playlist is only, you know, a couple hundred items, all of it will show here. But if I have, you know, something like, I think I've thousands of items on this particular playlist, then it's going to cut off around, you know, whenever the limit is reached. And that's okay. But the audio does sound very, very good. And again, it does show now the proper album art on the instrument cluster. So here's probably a good place just to highlight the fact that Tesla vehicles continue to get better long after they were produced. Many of the features this vehicle has were not present when it was produced in 2017. Certainly not the way that it drives, and we'll go on a little ride here with FSD in a little bit. But you know, all of that Tesla Theater stuff, a lot of those music sources, and then also safety critical features as well. Like we now have emergency 911 calling if it detects an accident. We also have rear cross traffic alerts. That's a new thing. So they're always improving the safety and also improving the capability of these vehicles over time. And it's a really, really cool thing. Speaking of that, Tesla vehicles are among the top safest vehicles on the road. Their NHTSA crash safety scores are stellar, and definitely a strong positive point in my decision to buy a vehicle like this. Not only are they safe though, they are a lot of fun. So not just with the entertainment like we talked about a moment ago, but also when you're driving. They're just fun vehicles to drive. They're tuned in a way that feels very, very precise in terms of the steering. And then of course, acceleration with the instant torque from these electric motors is amazing. And this car certainly has a lot of pep. If I want to out accelerate almost anything on the road, that's not a problem to do, even with this old 2017 rear-wheel drive 75 kilowatt hour model. All right, guys, so one of you had suggested putting the cameras up in the middle screen, so I think that could be good. Navigate to HMart. Okay, let's let that populate, and then we'll pop this back up. So the one thing we do lose is, of course, the navigation instructions here, but hopefully you'll be able to see the navigation instructions over here, and then I'll be able to kind of tell too. Can you see from here? That's not bad. All right, why don't we do that? Then you can see both, and it'll also be a lot easier for me as well. So here we go, and I just love the whole UI. Everything that Tesla does is really just cool looking, and so yeah, pretty awesome stuff. Sorry about the audio there. If the level kind of changed a lot, I lost the clip to my mic, so I'm having to kind of jury-rig it a little bit here. All right, so I turned on FSD, and if you were with me last year, you watched my 3-year review of the car, you might remember that actually FSD couldn't find its way out of this parking lot. So I'm not sure if it's going to be able to this time or not, but let's give it a shot. It is possible to take a right turn here. That's fine. Okay, so far so good. Ooh, we need to go a little bit further and take a left out of here. Yeah, so far so good. Oh, going a little faster than I normally would like, but it's all right. Okay. All right, we got an approaching vehicle, but after these 2 cars, we should have an opportunity to go. And we are clear. Excellent. That was really, really well done. That was a perfect turn. So I'm very, very happy with that. Here we go. That was good too. See, that white car was in our path, but was not, whatchamacallit, was not really a threat to us, right? So that was really good too. So here we go. But really, so you've seen a lot of my FSD videos. We're running FSD 12.6.4, and so I'm not going to take you on the whole drive. I'm going to jam out, listen to some tunes, and enjoy that. But I wanted to kind of showcase how incredible it is what this car can do driving on its own. And again, this is an 8-year-old car. None of this technology was available at the time that this car was produced. It was just a dream, really. There was some hope that it could do it, but it's absolutely fantastic. And especially in the daytime, this FSD version 1264 performs very, very well. It's a little bit timid, a little bit skittish in some scenarios, but more so at night. But anyway, I couldn't be happier. This is a truly fantastic car. And I am I am paying attention to what's going on the road, but I do want to say, this is still an incredible car. I do not regret at all my decision to get it, and I'm really, really stoked. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.